Have you ever noticed yourself pulling away from people as you grow older? Perhaps you used to enjoy socializing, but now the thought of engaging with certain individuals just feels draining. If this resonates with you, you're not alone. As we get older, our priorities evolve, our tolerance for unnecessary drama diminishes, and we begin to see things with a level of clarity that only life experience can provide. In this discussion, we will uncover 8 key reasons why many people in their late 60s and beyond naturally begin to distance themselves from others. By the end, you might realize that your desire to be more selective with your social interactions is not just normal, it's actually beneficial for your well-being. Stick with me, because understanding these 8 reasons will not only help you feel at peace with your choices, but it might also give you a deeper appreciation for the wisdom that comes with age. Let's begin. Reason 1. You no longer have patience for shallow conversations. There was a time when engaging in small talk was just an ordinary part of life, something you did at work, at social events, or during family gatherings. But as the years pass, you begin to see how unimportant these surface-level conversations truly are. Discussing the weather, celebrity gossip, or trivial matters that have no real impact on your life starts to feel like a waste of energy. You have spent decades handling real challenges, overcoming obstacles, and learning important lessons. At this stage, you crave conversations with depth, ones that leave you feeling inspired rather than mentally drained. You may have noticed that when you try to guide discussions toward meaningful topics, many people seem uninterested. They prefer talking about the latest scandals or what's trending on television instead of engaging in discussions that actually add value to life. Rather than forcing yourself to sit through empty chatter, you start to embrace silence instead. Spending more time alone does not mean you are lonely. It simply means solitude is more satisfying than engaging in meaningless interactions. For example, take someone like Samuel, a 71-year-old retired professor. He used to be the center of attention, always engaging in lively conversations. But now, at social events, he often finds himself losing focus as people ramble on about trivial matters. He prefers staying home with an insightful book, taking a quiet walk, or speaking with someone who shares his interests. And honestly, can you blame him? As you age, you recognize that your time is precious. You have earned the right to spend it in ways that bring you joy. If that means stepping away from conversations that add no real meaning to your life, then so be it. Reason 2. You have realized that not everyone is deserving of your energy. There was a time when you felt obligated to be polite, engage in conversations, and maintain friendships simply out of courtesy. Perhaps you believed it was your responsibility to always be available for others, even when they didn't show the same effort in return. But with time, your perspective changes. You begin to understand that not everyone deserves your time and energy, and not every relationship is worth preserving. Think about how often you've given your attention to people who take without giving back. How many times have you listened to someone's endless complaints, supported them through their struggles, only to realize they never truly cared about you in return? When you were younger, you might have tolerated this behavior, but as you get older, you lose the patience for it. You've learned that protecting your peace is more important than maintaining one-sided relationships. Diane, who is 73, she used to be the friend everyone called when they needed advice, help, or a favor. She would drop everything to support others, even when it inconvenienced her. But when she needed a helping hand, those same people were nowhere to be found. One day she had a realization: if a relationship drains more than it uplifts, it's not worth holding on to. Now she surrounds herself with people who genuinely care, and she feels lighter, freer, and happier than ever before. This isn't about resentment or anger. It's about recognizing your worth. You have lived long enough to understand that not everyone deserves a permanent spot in your life. The moment you stop pouring energy into the wrong people, you create space for peace, joy, and relationships that truly matter. Reason 3. You have outgrown one-sided relationships. There was a time when you made the effort to maintain relationships, even if you were the only one doing so. You initiated conversations, made plans, and were always the first to check in. But after years of putting in effort without reciprocation, you come to a crucial realization. You deserve relationships that are mutual. You begin to see that some people only reach out when they need something. They don't check on you, ask how you're doing, or offer support unless it serves their interests. And frankly, you no longer have the patience for that. Life is too short to chase after people who don't value you. Take Eleanor, who is 74. She spent years making sure old friends stayed connected, calling them, sending cards, and going out of her way to show she cared. Then one day, she decided to stop initiating contact. And do you know what happened? Silence. Days passed, then weeks, then months. Not a single person checked in. That was all the proof she needed. When you stop pouring energy into relationships that are one-sided, you create space for authentic connections, the kind where people give just as much as they take. This is a turning point in life. It's not about isolating yourself. It's about choosing to invest in relationships that truly add value to your life. Reason 4. Your desire for solitude has grown stronger than your need for company. There was a time when being alone felt like isolation. But now, it feels like freedom. You have come to understand that solitude is not something to avoid. It's something to cherish. When you are alone, you are not pretending to be someone you're not. You are not adjusting yourself to fit into other people's expectations. You are simply you, authentically and comfortably. Take George, who is 71. He spent most of his life going to social events out of obligation, engaging in conversations that didn't interest him, and making sure everyone around him felt at ease, even at the cost of his own comfort. But one day, he asked himself, "Why am I doing this?" That simple question changed everything. He stopped forcing himself into social situations that drained him. Instead, he spent more time doing things that actually fulfilled him, reading, going on nature walks, and enjoying quiet moments of reflection. And do you know what happened? He felt happier than he had in years. Not because he cut people out, but because he stopped forcing interactions that no longer felt right. When you begin to enjoy your own company more than the wrong company, it is a sign of self-respect. It means you no longer settle for relationships that don't uplift you. It means you have learned that your energy is valuable, and protecting it is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. And once you understand that, everything changes. Reason 5. You no longer seek approval from others. There was a time when other people's opinions weighed heavily on your decisions. You worried about whether they liked you, whether they approved of your choices, and whether you were living up to their expectations. But as you grow older, you realize that none of that truly matters. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to anyone. Take Henry, who is 74. He spent decades carefully navigating family relationships, friendships, and workplace dynamics, always trying to say the right thing, do what was expected, and keep the peace. But over time, he had an epiphany. Most people are too caught up in their own concerns to spend much time judging others. For years, he had held back his true thoughts, adjusted his actions to please others, and sacrificed his personal happiness for the sake of maintaining harmony. But what did it bring him? Exhaustion, frustration, a life that often didn't feel like his own. Then one day, he decided enough was enough. He stopped filtering his thoughts to match what others wanted to hear. He started dressing the way he preferred, making choices that brought him joy, and focusing on what he valued instead of worrying about external approval. And do you know what happened? Nothing. The world didn't end. People didn't suddenly turn on him. If anything, they began respecting him even more. When you carry yourself with confidence and authenticity, people take notice. Now Henry is more at peace than ever. He no longer second-guesses every conversation, replaying it in his mind to see if he said the wrong thing. He no longer feels the pressure to be what others expect. He is finally free. And that kind of freedom only comes when you stop seeking validation from those whose opinions don't determine your happiness. Reason 6. You have stopped tolerating negativity and toxic behavior. When you were younger, you may have had the patience to endure negativity, whether it was from friends, family members, or colleagues. You might have listened to endless complaints, tolerated gossip, or allowed people to drain your energy with their constant pessimism. But now, you don't have the time or the patience for that anymore. Take Martha, who is 72. She used to be the one people would turn to when they needed to vent about their problems. She was always there to listen, offering advice and support whenever someone needed a shoulder to lean on. But after decades of listening to the same people complain about the same problems without ever making an effort to change, she realized something. She was not responsible for carrying the weight of other people's negativity. Now, she chooses her peace over their problems. She surrounds herself with people who are uplifting, encouraging, and positive rather than those who thrive on complaints and drama. This doesn't mean she doesn't care about others. It simply means she values her own emotional well-being just as much as she values theirs. If someone constantly brings negativity into her life, she creates distance, not out of cruelty, but out of self-respect. Reason 7. You have learned the importance of protecting your energy. As you age, you start to see your time and energy as the most valuable things you have. In your younger years, you may have stretched yourself thin, juggling work, family obligations, friendships, and responsibilities that often left you feeling drained. You might have spent time with people out of obligation rather than desire, said yes to things you didn't truly want to do, and neglected your own well-being for the sake of others. But now, you know better. Take Leonard, who is 70. He used to feel guilty saying no to invitations, favors, or commitments, even when he didn't want to be involved. But over time, he began to ask himself, is this something I truly want to do? If the answer was no, he let go of the guilt and politely declined. He realized that his energy is sacred. Now he prioritizes what makes him feel fulfilled, peaceful, and content. Whether that means spending time alone, enjoying his hobbies, or only engaging with people who genuinely uplift him, he does it without hesitation. And the best part? He feels happier and more in control of his life than ever before. Reason 8. You have embraced the idea that not all relationships are meant to last forever. When you were younger, you might have believed that every friendship, family connection, or social bond was meant to last a lifetime. But as you grow older, you begin to see that not all relationships are meant to endure indefinitely. People change, circumstances shift, priorities evolve, and sometimes letting go is the healthiest choice you can make. Take Barbara, who is 72. She once had a close circle of friends, but over the years she started to notice that some of those friendships had become one-sided, toxic, or simply no longer aligned with her values. Instead of holding on to them out of nostalgia or obligation, she accepted that it's okay to outgrow people. She didn't harbor resentment. She simply allowed distance to form naturally, focusing her time and energy on the people who genuinely enriched her life. This shift brought her a sense of peace that she had never experienced before. If you find yourself avoiding certain people or choosing peace over social obligations, you are not alone. It doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It often means you've gained wisdom, clarity, and a stronger sense of self. The people you choose to spend time with now aren't just those who happen to be around. They are the ones who bring positivity, peace, and authenticity into your life. That is a sign of growth, not isolation. At this stage, life is no longer about unnecessary noise, pointless conversations, or relationships that drain you. It is about quality over quantity, deep, meaningful connections over shallow interactions. And if that means being more selective with your time, so be it. That's not loneliness. That's maturity. What about you? Do any of these reasons resonate with you? Have you noticed a shift in how you engage with people as you've grown older? We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts matter to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Your voice is important. If you found this message helpful, please like, share, and pass it along to someone who might need to hear it today. Thank you for spending your time here with us. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you in the next conversation. Blessed be.